are near the most influential seminary in the world. Not that one, or that one, or those to the north either. The most influential seminary in the world is Hollywood. Hollywood, America's most influential seminary. That's a headline that I read recently. The article stated that producers, directors, actors, screenwriters, and soundtrack artists shape hearts and minds by weaving together powerful images with stories and catchy music to convey a worldview and deep beliefs. Hollywood has some effective professors. I'm a theology professor, and many of you are theology professors or involved with some dimension of theological education. One thing I learned a long time ago is that theology and theological institutions have a reputation problem. I vividly recall, before I went to seminary, a conversation with one of my mentors. Whenever he would talk about where I was about to go to school, he would say the word cemetery instead of the word seminary. He may have been joking, but his use of the word cemetery betrayed the fact that he thought there was something problematic about seminaries and their work. I also vividly recall a speaker addressing an audience of pastors. He said it took 10 years to undo what seminary did to him. And this speaker was a seminary professor. It makes attending seminary sound like being in a brainwashing program that works against the purposes of the church. We need to renew the reputation and our task as theological educators. We don't have, seminaries and other theological institutions don't have big budget producers and the army that it takes to create the next influential blockbuster. But we do have something big that is one key to enhancing our task in theological education. We have a mission that is as big as the world, as big as life itself. Now, I'll admit that there was a time when I had a negative view of theology and doctrine, or at least what I thought these words meant. When I was in college one summer, I was going to go to a summer discipleship program. I called the director of the program and I asked what we'd be doing that summer. His answer, well, we're going to be studying some basic Christian doctrine. This was before Skype and FaceTime, so he wasn't able to see my sullen facial expression and limp body language upon hearing the word doctrine. At that time, the word doctrine meant the same thing as a prescription for insomnia. That summer, I learned I could not have been more wrong. I learned that doctrine is the great, deep truths of the Bible, and I began to see how those truths were connected to my Christian life. A similar experience occurred while I was in seminary. I arrived at seminary eager to learn about the Bible and doctrine and hoping that there was a connection between Christian beliefs and domains of life such as music and politics. Eventually, I encountered Abraham Kuyper, well known for this quote, "There's not a square inch in the whole domain of our human existence over which Christ, who is sovereign over all, does not cry, mine." Kuyper's getting at, and what I was learning was that if Christ is Lord over the entirety of creation, then everything in that creation matters to him. And that includes all of the things that we do outside of Sunday worship. What I learned in that summer program, and later from Kuyper, was that indeed we have a mission as big as the world, as big as life itself. In Matthew 28, Jesus proclaims, "All authority in heaven and earth is under him." In Acts 1:8, he tells us that our mission goes to the ends of the earth. Of course, he means the people all over the earth. But he also means all the domains of life all over the earth. This includes the holy work that's done in Hollywood, as well as the less heralded work done on assembly lines and in warehouses. The work done in seminaries and other theological institutions certainly helps people to understand the content we have in the scriptures and helps people to have the skills for various forms of church ministries. But our mission connects to the lives of every divine image bearer. Yet many Christians do not yet know this. I recall a recent conversation with Bob Dahl of BlackRock Capital. He often speaks about faith and work. In light of his travels speaking about faith and work, I asked him how many people knew about this vital connection between Christian beliefs and their work life, especially in light of the emergence of the Oikonomia Network and various centers for faith and work. Tip of the iceberg, was his response. I'm not a betting man, but I would wager that most of the people that attend our churches do not know we have a mission as big as the world, as big as life itself. Last month, a seminary board member told me, he said, we need to hold unflinchingly to the eternal, unchanging truths of Scripture, but we need to also be boldly engaging the real needs and issues that people face in everyday life. Hollywood captures hearts and minds because it invites people into an imaginary world they wish to inhabit for 2 hours. We have a mission as big as the world. And that mission extends to all the domains of life in the real world. But most churchgoers haven't gotten that message. Let's give them that message and invite them to join us as we renew, refine, expand, and broaden our approach to theological education. Thank you.